me out of context, I'm sure you could cancel me. I'm sure many of you already have in your minds. But if we keep the conversation going rather than shutting people up, that's where progress happens. And I think the real problem right now with cancel culture is that in the mind of these trolls and these liberals on Twitter and stuff, they think they're helping, but what they're doing is they're creating such a fear around uncomfortable topics of conversation. So rather than honest conversations about racism, or rather than honest conversations about, politics or anything like that, people are just whispering about what they believe to their small group of friends and people they know agree with them. And that doesn't help anyone. Nothing good is going to come out of that. We're not moving the needle at all. Does she have a couple more? All right, let's play.
Condemning the January 6th attack and upholding truth and facts, it's a shared bipartisan goal. Unfortunately, that's not what this hearing is about. If the majority was really interested in a meaningful dialogue, you wouldn't schedule a hyper-partisan hearing to shame and blame. You wouldn't be sending letters pressuring private companies to block conservative media outlets.
That it really is disgraceful. And if you missed that yesterday, 2 Democrats sent letters to these cable outlets like AT&T and Comcast and basically asked them if they were going to continue having Fox News and Newsmax on their platforms. I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. George Orwell would be like, damn, you guys took it really far. I know I gave you an outline, but wow. It's not funny. It's really terrifying, especially if you enjoy conversation, especially if you enjoy disagreeing and debate. There's just not a lot of that anymore. And that's another reason, not to go on a rant here, but that's another reason that Clubhouse is driving the liberals so insane. Because I read something that they don't like the unfettered conversations. They want to be there as the narcs to rat you out if you dare say something that they find unacceptable. They want to ruin your life. All right, Jared, what do you got for us for producers' picks? Kathy stole your thunder.
And now, the feature so many of our listeners wait for each day. Producers' Picks.
All right, we're going to start off with listener favorites. The Washington Post, who apparently now cares and is paying attention to laboratories in Wuhan, China.
Okay.
So, and you gotta give credit to Miller, who tweeted this out. Basically, they attacked Tom Cotton for questioning the idea that the coronavirus came from a bat and that they should check the labs in Wuhan that were working on bat virology. Well, he was spreading wild conspiracy theories, and Tom Cotton was a science denier and blah, and every other thing you can think of in their word. Well, the Washington Post editorial board posted an opinion piece today. The U.S. should reveal its intelligence about the Wuhan laboratory. Funny how then, according to the article, quote, then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and President Donald Trump missed no opportunity to bash China over the virus, trying to divert attention from Mr. Trump's disastrous pandemic response.
I was just talking about this today with someone. It's amazing how when you talk to people about the pandemic and the effects of the pandemic and how it's changed their life, big or small, people are frustrated with a lot of people. People are frustrated with people that don't wear masks. People are frustrated with Dr. Fauci. People are frustrated with Trump. People are frustrated with Biden. No matter where you are on the political spectrum, people are very frustrated with other people. But I never hear people that angry at China. And I think sometimes people need that reminder, which is why Trump kept calling it the China virus, because it's important to remember that this did not start here. I think that's just something that it's a helpful reminder for people to keep in mind.
So yes, now they want transparency from both China and from the United States intelligence services. So
transparency is back in fashion, baby.
Finally, American leadership brings transparency back.
Oh, ushers in transparency. The pillars of transparency.
And you mentioned this in hour one. The boss is back in the news.
Slashed and I almost crashed, but the Lord have mercy. She's a dud all stuck in the mud somewhere in the swamps of Jersey.
U.S. prosecutors have agreed to drop the DUI and reckless driving charges against Bruce Springsteen, saying they can't prove their case. And I guess if his blood alcohol was 0.02, it's a little tough to.
Was this a virtual hearing?
I'm not entirely sure. It might have been on the Renegades Born in the USA podcast.
Interesting.
So instead of the reckless driving DUI charges dropped, he will plead guilty to a lesser charge of consuming alcohol in a U.S. park and pay a $500 fine.
I'm sure the Jeep commercial payday will cover that just fine.
I understand he's also been sentenced to spend 2 hours every day with Barack Obama on a podcast.
Oh,
hey-o!
Now that is cruel and unusual punishment. I do not support that for anyone.
Between red and blue.
Blue.
Speaking of the dear leader, in Australia, a wild sheep was rescued and was shorn 35 kilograms of fleece. I don't do metric math, so I don't know what that turns into pounds. But can you guess what the sheep's name was?
What?
Barack.
Okay.
This is where we are.
News?
This is news. This is from Reuters. This is Reuters.
Reuters? Is that a crazy amount of fleece?
I don't. Taylor, how many pounds? 77 pounds. That's quite a bit of fleece.
Oh yeah, I do love fleece. I can't lie to you.
And things, as happy as Justin Trudeau is to have Joe Biden back with American supreme leadership or whatever he called it, about 36 House Democrats yesterday signed a letter asking President Biden to renounce his sole authority to launch nuclear weapons.
Yeah, when the phone don't ring, guys, that's going to be President Biden calling you. Hello.
So let's recap. So they arguably, I will say legally, arguably, stole an election, have barricaded themselves behind basically a fortress, have taken over chambers of Congress, have silenced their enemies, and now they want the authority to fire nuclear weapons.
Well,
who was the dictator again?
When I think of who I would trust with the nuclear codes, obviously you got Joe Biden because he's sharp as a tack.
The code is 33003.
And then number 2 has got to be Nancy Pelosi. I mean, nothing says stable like screaming at people about censures and stationery and, saying you were set up when you get your hair cut. Those two, I mean, I'd put all my trust in their arms. Guys, this week is the week you've been waiting for. My friends at Eden Pure have done it again. They brought back the ever so popular Thunderstorm air purifier. I'm going to hold it up for the camera right now. You see this? It's a perfect size. You can move it around. It doesn't take up 2 outlets, only covers 1, which is really great. And it's a buy one, get one free. The offer expires Sunday, February 28th at midnight. With over 60,000 sold, the Thunderstorm is slated to sell out, so take advantage of this offer while supplies last. If you bought one and you love it the way I do, then order now and you'll have 2. Debbie from Auburn, Maine wrote, "Wet dog, sausage, and cigars was no match for the Thunderstorm." Our listeners love the Thunderstorm air purifier. I love it. I know Jared loves it. It's just a great product.
It really is. And, if they're going to take away your nuclear codes and lock you in the basement, you want fresh air. So get the Eden Pure Thunderstorm.
You don't want to have a damp basement, guys. It's not good. Joe Biden could tell you that himself. You want the Thunderstorm. When you take advantage of this BOGO offer, the Thunderstorm is below $100 and doesn't take up any room. Also, no filters are needed. Take advantage of the BOGO offer before it expires this Sunday or before supplies run out. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word GRACE BOGO. That's EdenPure.com. Grace BOGO. Shipping is free. Thank you for producers' picks. We will be back on the other side with Howie Carr. This is the Grace Curley Show.
You can call her late for dinner. Just don't call her Gracie. It's the Grace Curley Show.
Okay, boys and girls, gather round. It's story time with Grace Curley. Tell me the story of the missing makeup brush.
When I first started working for Howie, I was in sales with the mailroom manager. And one time I bought this really